Everybody, welcome to the Yayo Show. Reach your girl Yayo. And I got my cousin back on here again, Lamar Hill. Thank you, counselor, for coming back. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm great. How are you? Good.
I'm doing good. Welcome back. We had a nice little time last time, huh?
I think we did. I think we did.
I think, but God, we started talking and got on so many other topics. We couldn't get everything in 20 minutes, so we're gonna try something a little different
Yeah.
and just podcast and chop it up.
Yeah, part two. Part two.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna call this part two. I mean, but the first time when we spoken, we were talking more about PTSD
Yes.
and the PTSD in the conversation. I don't know if you remember, we started talking more into relationships
Yeah.
and how the significant other help their mate, significant other, whatever we calling it, on helping them recover from PTSD and coping with it. But it just seems like we kept getting into more talking more relationships now. And with you being a life coach, that's one of your
Yeah.
pet peeves also. So I think today, we should go ahead and just keep it going and get into it because I do have questions. I do have a
Okay.
lot of questions because it's a lot of things about relationships and different kind of relationships. But one of my biggest things in relationships now is when we have to learn to walk away. When
Oh,
is it time to walk away? Because they always come back with, I'm sorry. And when I say relationship, sometimes it can be just friendships.
yeah.
Uh, Also, it's not just husband and wife, girlfriend and boyfriend, or, significant others or whatever. But sometimes it can be just you and a friend. Like, when is it time to kind of like cut the cord? Because sometimes in a relationship, we get a little used to the toxic.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times the old cliche, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. So
Ooh,
we often put up
right.
with, you know, what we I'm not going to say what we're used to, but what we've somehow normalized.
Right.
So he he talks to me crazy, but he doesn't hit me.
But what I learned when somebody talked to you crazy, it's called verbal abuse. And
Yeah,
verbal abuse is just as bad to me. I don't know. It's physical abuse
yeah,
because you can hide a bruise and then that can kind of heal and then the scar is gone. But verbal, that tongue, now it's in your head now. You know
hmm
what I mean? And you never forget, and your brain do not let you forget that,
yeah.
words.
So yeah, but again, I think you touched on some real points to where I think for each person, one person may you may say this one is worst, and someone else may be like, oh no, well it's not that bad, but somehow in your mind you rationalize it and make it okay to stay.
Right.
Just because maybe somebody did worse to you in the past. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe he's better than all of your girlfriend's man, or and I mean this on either side, dudes too.
Right. Okay.
This chick talked to me like she crazy. She talked to me crazy. Like
She got a smart mouth.
yeah, she got a smart mouth. She you know she's disrespectful to me, embarrassed me in front of my friends.
Ooh.
Like is that okay? Is that okay? Yeah,
The
but
devil we know.
yeah, the devil. Yeah, the devil.
Yeah, the devil we know. Like, is that okay? And you sometimes you get used to that.
Yeah, you get used to it, and you love, like you love this person, so you've seen better out of them,
Right.
but yet somehow you keep getting this version of them. Maybe it happens, every 10 days. I mean, not that you could put a clock to it, but it's happening on some kind of, even if it's on an infrequent level,
Right.
but you can't
And
get that it happens.
right. And
Um,
it gets there. But the thing is, like what we were saying in the beginning of the conversation, what we were trying to get at is the apologies. The
yes.
hoovering is what I like to call it. You know, hey, I'm not gonna let this, I'm not gonna do it again. But sometimes it's just get to a part in your life where sorry don't fix it anymore.
No, it doesn't. And it's the behavior that you want to fix. The, you know, I mean, my kids tell me all the time, like, I'm sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry. Do better.
Do
Like,
better.
stop doing it. Stop doing something that you're gonna be sorry for. So don't talk to me crazy and then apologize for it.
Right.
And at some point it becomes, I mean, you're kind of enabler, because what you tolerate will only increase.
Only increase.
Yeah. If I
So, and once you tolerate it, it's never going to get better. It's just
no,
going to be, you know, like that.
yeah, it's gonna progressively it's gonna get worse. If if I if I leave my wallet on the table and you take $20 out of it every day, eventually you're gonna need more than
At the
20.
100.
Yeah.
Right.
So I gotta cut it off somewhere.
Right.
And but I think a lot of times we hold on to a relationship because we see the potential in somebody.
It's
And
but seeing the potential is a good thing because I keep hearing different things like don't love somebody for their potentials, But then you hear stories like, I was working on my business and then she left. She got tired of it. And after she left, the business was successful. You know what I mean? Like, is that a good scenario or no? Like,
well, see, I think a lot of times we try to do relationships like we do business, to where you're looking for the come up, you're waiting for it to blossom, but
okay,
you got to also operate in the moment. So
okay,
if the person you're with is not good for you now, you're not ready to be in, they're not ready, or you're not ready to be in a relationship with that version of them. Sometimes you got to leave so they can get better.
oh, because
And we don't want to let someone else reap the benefits of the seeds that we've sown into this person.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's when the jealousy kind of come in. Like, I'd
Yeah.
be damned if I give him up so another woman can be happy with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Like,
And so I
yeah,
just sit here and be miserable.
yeah, he wasn't nothing when he done put me through all these hard years. He wasn't nothing when we first met. Now he finally about to start making a little money, or he's now you done taught him how to buy flowers. You done, you done taught him how to bring his paycheck home. Yeah, he wasn't doing none of that before you met him, and you think she gonna get that from him? Well, guess what? He's not gonna give it to you anyway.
Right.
If he wanted to, he would do it.
Right.
Leave. So, and I know
Yeah, I let him go. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
know you will.
Hold on now. Oh, you wanna go? Bye. Here go the
Yeah,
door. Don't let it miss you. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
And I know on the last show,
There's issue.
I gave pause because you were so quick to change the blueprint. So I don't want to. I don't want to be the guy advocating for everybody to, drop that zero and get with this hero. Like, but you got to really take a real assessment of the relationship that you're in and the person that you're with.
Right. And I think because of that, it's probably why it's easier for me not to go. Yeah, let me just keep it all the way real, okay? I'm a very loyal person. And when I'm in a relationship, I give it my all. I really do. I go hard in the paint. Like, you know what? I'm going to give it my all. But I just look at it like, okay, so it's a year now. I gave it my all. This ain't what it was in the beginning, and I understand that relationships look work. I'm not the type that just bail during the hard times. 9 times out of 10, if I'm even involved in a relationship, we were probably friends or something at first or knew each other. You get what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even like meeting strangers. Like, I don't know, so it's really kind of hard to explain that part. But I I had to learn because I used to stick into long-term relationships too long.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, I noticed I gave up too much years of my life and I got nothing. And I saw the red flag, but I was just hoping that it would get better to like it was in the beginning. And now the years is wasted and I can't get it back. You know what I mean? You can
Well,
only keep your looks for so long. I mean,
yeah.
not what I'm not I'm not telling my age. You can tell
Yeah.
yours, but I only
Yeah.
got a few years left of all this. Like, I gotta enjoy this. Not just
You holding on to it well.
holding on to it, but I just had to really learn. And it's not like I grew up with a low self-esteem.
Right.
But I think my problem was I was always I'm about to tell you the term. I was the helpmate. I
Okay.
always had a soft spot where it's just, you know, I'm the rescuer of the
Okay.
relationship. I'm
Uh,
always trying to rescue somebody.
I
And
call it.
sometimes what is that called?
I call it a fireman
Okay.
because you're the guy, or on the guy side, you're the guy
Right.
that's trying to save the damsel out of the burning building. You need to be the hero. You need to be
Right.
the hero of her life, the one that saved her from something, even if it's herself.
Right.
Um, so you can come in and rescue the damsel in distress, you know, like on all the movies and books that you read as a kid, the prince in shining armor.
Right. And that's what I try to do. It is like I don't like kicking nobody down while they already down. Like it is like I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything, but it's draining me down now. Like now I'm feeling drained. And it's like, what have I got myself into now? Because I love hard, I love deep. It is like I can't get out of it, but I can. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I
I
know you
can.
can. Yeah,
Oh, but I didn't used to always be like that. Like I will put up with the ups and downs and the back and forth for
yeah.
years. So
So is that like a more of a learned behavior? The fact that, like you said, I put so much into this and put so much into that, and you've seen it not work out in the past, to where now you've kind of, but you learn from your mistakes, to where you say, like, you know what, I've been down this road enough times to know how this story ends. So I don't need 10 more days. I need to make a cut today, because
right, and I see where this is going.
yeah,
And I need to say because in a relationship. especially as women when we get mad. Let's just keep it all the way real. What's the first thing we gonna call that man when we get mad? A narcissist. We use that word so freely, like, oh, but as I read some of Robert Greene books, all of us
Hmm.
have a slight touch of narcissism in them, in
Yeah,
us.
absolutely.
So I'm guilty because really, when you think of what narcissism is we have a little gift of manipulation.
Hmm.
So what do I do? I turned into the queen because I learned it from being in that kind of relationship and with a narcissist. And what I would learn is we go no contact. Like, okay, block, I don't want to talk to you. And then 2 months later, in that no contact, oh my God. I didn't know what that was. Like, how do somebody go a month or two without talking to me? Like, that was like confusing to me. But now, after I learned the game, like, oh, so that's
Yeah.
what this no contact, I like it. Like, okay, well, watch this. You fool. Watch
Yeah.
this. I learned the game now. So I'm going to play, or go no contact. But I don't really use it as a punishment. I use it as a source as, is this right for us? Let's take a break, space. Let me do me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then figure what you got to figure out. And then if we come back to each other, maybe it's meant to be. But, cousin, what I'm learning is causing me to have, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Hmm.
trauma bond, Stockholm syndrome,
Ooh.
where I feel like I keep running back to the abuser. And I
Hmm.
suffer from that even in my friendship. And when I say in my friendships, like, I'm gonna use an example. Years ago, I was homeless. Well, I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
homeless because my mom have a home and I can always go back home.
Right.
But
Right.
I had a beautiful home in Atlanta. The recession came. It just some things happened. I had some jealous friends. I tried to do some business with it. Didn't work out. That's another story. And I went to visit a friend, and it hurt me. And this is what this friend told me. This is what she verbally told me. She was having some drinks. We were, kicking it,
Yeah.
over like a family gathering. And I lost everything. And I was telling, her aunt and things like, I lost everything. And bam, she said, I'm happy that happened to you. That's what you get for letting them come and didn't let me come. I'm happy that you lost everything. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's bluntly in my
Yeah.
face, and I didn't talk to her for years. And of course, she apologized, years later, and we went over that. But it's
Yeah.
just something in the back of my head where I wanna go visit, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
can't go around her, around a lot of people or alcohol involved, where I miss weddings and, birthdays. I won't go because it's something in the back of my head that still gets to me like, nah, she ain't about to get me in front of the family and friends and ever talk to me like that again.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but a lot of people say you didn't have no business going back being friends with somebody like that in the first place. That's your dumb for, like, somebody said that to you, and but you know me because you're my cousin, so you know my mama. And
Hmm.
my mama like your mama. Okay, you
Yep.
get what I mean? So
Yep.
our mamas, so you already know. Mama always like, oh, you gotta forgive. You gotta forgive. But that particular friend wasn't the only one. Let's go back to the relationship where my ex called me and told me, I'm glad that happened to you. I'm glad you lost everything. Like, oh,
Hmm.
really? Like, it's like two people in 2 months said, I'm glad that happened to you.
Well, I mean, did they
Don't
care to explain what? how
Well,
did
I
they?
know why my ex, he told me, "Well, I'm
Okay.
glad that happened to you because that's what you get for messing with that nigga." I mean, can I say that? This is my podcast. I can
Yeah.
say that. And
Yeah.
he didn't like the guy that I really love. You know what I mean? I was
Mm.
head over heels and we broke up. You know what I mean? He didn't treat me right. We had children or whatever, and I broke up and I found happiness. And even when I found the happiness, it didn't work out, but he didn't like that particular guy. Like out of all the guys, you like him. But he told me, I'm glad that happened to you. And I was talking to my manager that helps me with my podcast, and he said, Angie, you suffer from Stockholm syndrome. You got Stockholm syndrome. And I said, what? Okay, what is that? He was like, you don't know what that is? It's like trauma bond. I said, oh, I know what that
Yeah.
is because, we
Yeah.
talking nurses. And now you're talking my language. And
Yeah.
I Googled it, pulled it up, and I'm like, wow, but I feel mistreated. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I walk away. But the forgiveness side, where I'm trying to learn to get over, is to stop going back. How do you stop? Like, okay, you're sorry, but I got to move on now.
Well, I think a lot of times, like with Stockholm syndrome, even with trauma bonds, we focus more on the object than ourselves. So
Okay.
if because again, to just kind of bring everybody in on with Stockholm, you have a unhealthy obsession with pleasing the person that's hurting you, as if you could somehow be better, they would love you, or they would treat you better if you could, as if it's you're capable of overcoming um, something to
Okay.
make them view you better, which
Okay.
totally gives the object the power versus
Okay.
giving yourself the power. So
Okay.
it's an imbalance. Same way with a trauma bond, you're thinking about the person or the object versus yourself. So kind of how you get past that is to first you got to value yourself.
Right.
Because once you
Right.
see, like I'm better than this, like like you may look good, I may love you, but you can't talk to me like that.
Right.
Like, you know, because I value myself too much to allow anybody to disrespect me in such a
Right.
manner. So,
Right.
um, and that's again much easier said than done
It's
because
much easier said than done.
yeah,
And you know me. Okay. Well, no contact. Oh, that's how you feel? I ain't talking to you no more.
yeah.
I'm
Well, what about
done.
but then when they finally do reach back out,
2, 3 years later,
yeah,
then that's when the soft become and be like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
you
stop
know,
being hard. And you said something when we were talking about mothers, because again, I totally know our mothers are cut from that same forgiving cloth.
that
Um,
forgiving claw.
yeah,
But
and
it's
I think
funny
yeah,
though.
but I
Like,
think a lot of times um, that generation, and no critique, I think that generation kind of did us a disservice by making us believe that all people um, had a forgiving idea, and many people took advantage of that.
right.
So I can do this, and you know, I know like with my mother, um, she shielded me from a lot of bad stuff. So
Right.
my view of the world was that of my house. I didn't know it was idiots out in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I thought everyone was
It's
inherently
not
good. Yeah.
right.
and everyone wanted to see me win, and everybody wanted what was best for me. Um, and it's a gift and a curse,
It's a
you
gift
know.
and a curse,
Yeah,
exactly. And
because
that's how my mom, I'm not saying that, she was the problem of, but it was like being sheltered.
yeah,
But she always, raised me to be, what that Bible say, and I think I found myself to be what you call the fireman of the relationship. Like,
hmm,
okay, well, what would Jesus do? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, it's like I feel like I took it too far. Like, wait a minute, trying to live up to,
yeah.
according to this way. And
And I think the principles that they taught were good, but the application needed a piece that they um, really failed to equip you with, to where like,
okay,
when do you get out? When is enough? Never heard of enough is enough. Not from
right.
that forgiveness clause.
Not from that era
Yeah,
either,
no,
because we had uncles and cousins, and they would stay, and I'd be like, "Wow, I nobody got a divorce. They died
yeah,
or passed away, but nobody got a divorce on that
yeah,
side. Like,
yeah,
they just
yeah,
stayed. You're
yeah.
like, okay, you deal with it."
Yeah, you can
And
have outside kids. Yeah, yeah,
but they worked it out. And so in my eyes, I always thought, maybe you can work it out. But it's just a part of me that can't trust it no more. Like
yeah,
the broken, you know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, when is enough? You know what I mean? I'm sometimes I get sad because I know I'm a miss this person,
yeah,
like God. But at the same time, it's draining my energy.
yeah,
And it's like they're turning into energy vampires, and it's like, I don't feel like they're genuine happy for me, and I could make them feel some kind of way too. It's
yeah,
always two sides to a story, but at the end of the day, the words and that hurt, you can't take them back now. All you can do
no,
is say, "I'm sorry,"
mm,
but I'm so tired of "I'm sorry."
yeah,
So here it goes. It's like a pattern. It's every 4 years. You know what I mean? You come up with this. Or even if you were in a relationship, every 2 months, we about to get into it. And the months turn into every 6 weeks to 4 weeks to every 2 weeks to now we just don't get along. Like,
yeah,
okay. Where now I gotta go no contact for 5 months. And then that only lasts for 2 months. Let me go another five. Let me go 6 months this time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But I don't understand, why do they keep coming back? Like,
yeah,
why? If I go to, why you come back with the "I'm sorry"? But
yeah,
it's like, okay, you coming back to do me in now? Like, oh man, like you hoovering it in. But it's like, sorry, you go ahead. It's
yeah. No, no. I mean,
with me, y'all.
yeah. I mean, I think at some point I mean, you said it best. Sorry can't fix it. Um, but there's a healthy way to depart that we all have to understand. And again, it's being willing to cut ties with something that's draining you. Like when a situation becomes unhealthy, it doesn't mean I I think again the tool that we didn't our generation didn't get equipped with is that ability to separate for even a time, and that's biblical. When we talk
Okay.
about the Bible thumping, um,
Okay.
that piece is biblical. That where you know you may need to separate for a time.
Right.
So, and what, as you said, what that allows you to do, it allows you to reevaluate the situation. Um, I know when I was going through my divorce, um, I was afraid to separate because I said, I may leave and you may be glad about it, or I may leave and I'm glad about it, which,
Right.
which may not serve the marriage coming back together. But um, it was necessary. And so for that piece, it was necessary to, for me to collect my thoughts on how, what the next step is, for, her to connect her thoughts on what's the next step. Is this something I, really still want to be in? Do we, you know, are we still compatible?
Right.
Um, is he my guy? Is she my is she my person? As everybody like
Right.
to say, you know, and you know, see how that, we'll write the book on what how that turned out.
How to heal, how that turned out.
Yeah,
Okay. We got to work on that. Let's manifest that too and put that in the air. But then once again, it's why is it so hard to leave? Why is it
well,
so hard to let go?
again, the devil, is is the everyone's afraid of the
Yeah.
unknown. You know, the unknown. Because again, but once you decide, and that's why, like, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom, because what you know is that whatever's on the other side can't be any worse than what I'm already going through. Then you'll make a change. But as long as you kind of feel like, hey, you know what? I've learned how to endure this. I've learned how to cope with it,
Accepted it.
accept it. I can deal with it. I'm strong enough to bear it. Like, yeah, he can talk to me crazy, but I don't even listen to it anymore. I'm numb
I
to
just
his words.
ignore it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You become numb, and numb
Right.
is a way to cope. And you got to stop coping and start living. But again, you got to first realize you're in an unhealthy spot.
In a very unhealthy situation.
But as
You
long as
know,
you rationalize it, make it okay, it's, you know I'm better off here today than to be out there on the streets where, you know I could meet someone that, like, no, he talks to me crazy, but he doesn't hit me. The next guy I meet may hit me and talk to me crazy and take my money. You know,
right. Or you, like you were saying
yeah,
earlier, you compare your relationship to somebody else's. Well, at least he
yeah,
doesn't do this. I mean, but it's almost like you're putting a band-aid on. Well, he's
yeah,
abusing me
yeah,
verbally, but at least he's not physically abusing
yeah,
me, or it could be worse. It could be like my friend husband, or
yeah.
you know what I mean? So now
And
you
it's all
compare
rooted
it.
in, yeah, and it's all rooted in fear.
Right. So
Where,
basically, we stay because we're scared.
yeah,
We're more scared of what's out there in the world, starting all over,
yeah,
or, losing everything, finance. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm more scared to get involved. It's almost like, well, let it go. Bye. Okay. You want to break up? Good. Let's go. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, I don't just move next. I just do me and move on with my life and just, you know, get to another level, do what Angie likes to do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And get better at it, get a hobby. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's not the end of the world, to
yeah,
me, because I don't want to get too caught in and then have to go with this breakup. You know what I mean? Or the pain for when they do leave. Because in my head, everybody has to go.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you
Yeah,
know,
and I think, and you said it. I guess the key word to me is, like, fear. once we decide that and we really are willing to acknowledge and identify what we're really afraid of, you can then start unlocking or uncovering, you know, are these fears, you know, the word fear acronym is false evidence appearing real. Um,
Okay.
so we take a thing that has happened or hasn't already happened and we accept it as if it's gonna happen. I mean,
Right.
that's like a real idea of fear. So um, I'm afraid he's gonna leave me, or I'm afraid he's gonna take all my money, or I'm afraid what is no real evidence that that is gonna happen. You know, I'm afraid to walk out in the street because I
Right.
might get hit by a car. Well,
Right.
no car is coming. Um, you know, no, you know, you'll have time to get out of the way. But you
Right.
know, what you believe is more important than the truth. So you take all of that information and accept it as if it's something real. So once you kind of uncover what you're really afraid of, you can then start rationalizing it and breaking it down. You know, like okay, well, um, I could find someone who does treat me well, respect me well, and this. So that's a possibility too. But as long as you're frozen in the fear, you'll never get to that solution. So you stay.
So you stay and you settle.
Yeah. And for you, the inverse to that, as long as you stay in the fear that this person could be this or this person could be that, not that this person could be the perfect person for me.
Mhm.
That could be true as well, right? Could you not
Somebody's
meet
perfect?
for you?
No.
Yes.
It's a
No,
perfect
eh,
I don't
you don't
know.
believe that there's a perfect person for you out there? Yeah. Again, what you believe is
I
more
don't
important than the
believe
truth.
anybody is I don't believe no one
Yeah.
is perfect but God, to be truthful.
Okay.
My honest answer,
Not
I
not a perfect person, a perfect person for you.
mm,
What would that look like? Does it exist even in your mind? If it doesn't exist in your mind, there's
in
no
my
way.
mind, a perfect person would be like a guy that is like my best friend. Like, this is my buddy right here. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I don't forget now, don't judge me. Y'all know I come from
Yeah.
Flint, Michigan. So I am from listen, I'm from the hood. So I'm not fixing to act all bougie and all this. You know, I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100. I'm no professional like yourself. I am from the hood, okay? But my perfect guy is like a, I don't know, you know, is my best friend. Somebody that I know I can trust that we can ride with each other. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that security blanket, you know. I want a man that makes me feel safe. And the new men out here is just it's a little different now in the dating pool. They're a little sassier. Put it like this, where I don't feel
That's true.
safe with no sassy man. I'm just gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these new guys is a little sassy. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't feel that connection is really hard.
Yeah.
See, that's why
So
I can't go to counseling because you'll be on the couch.
yeah.
like like
So
soprano. I'm like,
yeah.
Tony, drive my
So,
counselor crazy. You can't.
yeah. But I guess what I'm saying is if You don't believe that there's a guy out there that could be your best friend that could also make you feel safe? You gotta know that that could
Mm,
exist. I mean, you
loyalty is rare.
okay?
And yeah, they'd be my best friend. I do believe I can find a best friend, but I just don't see men as being loyal anymore. Maybe when they get older, like they almost 60 and need a, you know what I'm saying, a wife nurse, then,
Yeah,
but loyalty is so rare. You know what I mean? And, it might be some out there. Don't get me wrong. Anything I do believe, anything I put my mind to it, it can happen. But
yeah,
it's just I I learned now I don't depend on them for my happiness. But at the same time, if they can't, they're not bringing anything, you know, any like they don't even bring
yeah.
motivation to the table in this dating pool anymore. Like, it's always about them, and you be like, okay, well, so it's just the selfishness is like it just works out better you know, to be alone. I used to listen to those Kevin Samuel before he
Yeah,
died, rest in peace,
yeah.
videos, and he was like, "You just gonna have to have a dog." But you know what? I'm okay with the dogs. You know what I mean? Like it's okay because they have more loyalty. I had the pit bulls, the bullies, and the Frenchies. Hey, that's the only way you gonna get a loyal friend. They ain't gonna do it. They
I,
play too much.
see, I believe you got to tap into your optimism and believe differently. Now, again, whether you're willing to do that, yeah, don't do that. Don't give me
Don't do
that.
you like
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you got to tap into it because, like you said, you believe anything that you put your mind to, you can manifest it.
right.
Correct.
I can man
But
so you saying
but
I
yet,
can manifest a man.
well, I'm also saying you can
I
manifest
manifested
this.
money before though,
Yeah.
but I can manifest a man too.
And and
All right.
again, I used to be big into the law of attraction. Are
Okay.
you?
I like the law of attraction.
Yeah. And so if you think about um whatever you're thinking about, like a radio dial, and you're saying, okay, uh, you're thinking your mind is saying disloyal man. All men are disloyal. There is no loyal man, which equals all men are disloyal. So
Right.
your radio is tuned to disloyalty. You see what I'm saying? There we go.
You rung
So
the bell.
yeah,
Okay.
so you have to, and again, that's
Start
same.
saying
Yeah, I'm looking
you
for
want to
a
be
loyal
a
man,
loyal man.
and loyal men do exist. I
And
just haven't found him yet. And you'll keep tuning the radio until a loyal man
loyal
shows up.
man.
Anything disloyal, you're not. That's not what you're looking for.
So that's what I've been doing wrong all these years. I just been putting it in the universe that, they
Yeah,
all ain't right.
right.
And I
And
need to
that's all
stop
you're gonna
doing
find. And that's what you're immediately attracted. Disloyalty.
that.
Because your
Okay.
radio is tuned into finding disloyalty. So same way with what we talked about looking through. I don't can't remember we talked about that on a podcast or whatever. But if you're gonna look through somebody's phone, you're gonna find exactly what you're looking
We
for.
were talking about that. Yeah. Somebody go through your phone, you're gonna find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And
Same
if
way
they
with
loyal, you shouldn't be finding what you're looking for.
yeah.
But
But guess what? If you're looking for
but
disloyalty, you'll
you
find it.
gonna find this good.
Yeah. Why you delete
Mm,
your messages? Like I delete I delete all my messages. Who are you texting that you had to delete messages from? Like my mother? Like no. But it still feels disloyal. So because you're looking for it.
because you looking. And the reason why most women is looking because of the trust issues, for one.
Trust issues,
You know,
past
um,
traumas,
past trauma, trauma
fear.
bond,
Yeah,
fear.
right. And the
Okay.
fear of believing that this was done to me in the past and it'll also be done to me in the future, which again is false evidence appearing real fear. So because
So the moral of this story is I'm
mhm,
just scared.
that's the true moral of the story.
And that's
Yeah,
the true moral of the story. I'm really so let's just keep it real. So when somebody say, "Hey Angie, why is you single?" I'm
I'm
scared.
scared. And the truth will
Damn.
make you free. Ask your mama.
And the truth will set me free. All
Yeah.
right, everybody, you heard it. Now y'all know why I'm single. It's not because I'm crazy, it's because I'm scared.
That's
So men
that's a
quit telling
revelation
women
though.
that too. The first thing, why you pretty? This, that, why you single? You pretty, you must be crazy. No, I'm
I'm scared.
scared. Dang,
Yeah.
Lamar. Hey. We got something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
Yeah, we got
today.
a breakthrough. We got a
I'm
breakthrough.
scared. Yeah, we got a breakthrough. That's why I'm single, because I'm scared.
That's
Shoot.
and and this is what I'm saying. Like, and imagine the type of man that imagine the man, a real man's response to you if he's saying like, you know, sweetheart, you so pretty, this is another, and you like, why are you single? And you say, because I'm scared. Imagine his response to you versus, I mean, you'll a real man will be able to stand up and become what you need him to be in that moment. You've just created a moment for him to rise up and be a king
Okay.
versus
Or I could create a moment for him to lie and be like, "Oh, don't be scared, baby. If you give me your heart, I will never hurt you." You get what
but
I'm
you
saying? But I get it.
but,
I can't
but
think
you
like
from the
that.
street. You know game. You know game. I mean,
Yeah.
that's when you can trust yourself to say, you know what? I know game and I know since, a sincere, genuine person, and I'm gonna allow him a chance to prove this. Not the game, not the words that came out of his mouth,
Right.
his
But
response
give him
to
a
me
chance
being
to
scared.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
But
if a
then
woman tells me she's afraid of something, I'm not trying to drag her through something. You know, I want to give her her space. I want to create a safe space for her so she's no longer scared. So
okay.
now that everything shifts, so the needs are no longer about, ooh, baby, baby, I want to get with you. It's not like, what do you need? Like, what do you need to feel safe with me?
Oh,
Yeah. You know,
right.
is it a good
Okay.
morning text? Is it a good morning, beautiful text? If that does it for you,
That
if it's
helped. Good morning text definitely helped.
okay,
Men don't realize
yeah,
how a good morning text goes a long way. Just to have a beautiful day. Just I'll be thinking about you or cheering you on, and
yeah,
a good morning text help. But it'll take a little bit more than a good morning text. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But
But I'm saying, but that's a start. So he's at
start.
least trying to unlock the spaces to put you in a safe environment, and then
Right.
that ends up building the trust and the friendship, and now magically you have your best friend that you've been looking for, because and he's loyal to you because I don't he put in the work.
Right.
Yeah. So again,
So you put it in the
way
work.
easier said
I
than
know.
done.
God. We went a little over today.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
We went a
Again,
little over today, but I think we had a good breakthrough today. I
I
think
think
I
we
got
had a
something
breakthrough.
like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Yayo went to counseling today on her
Yeah.
podcast. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of embarrassing, but it was very well needed now. I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
go out tomorrow. Like, you know
Do
what?
that.
Let me go out and try it. Yeah, I'm gonna go out to the club. Like they gonna be at the club.
Maybe go to dinner
Yeah, well, it's
somewhere.
strangers. You never know. I just go out to
Yeah.
dinner. I'm gonna call my best friends and be like, you know what, we hanging out. And then when a guy asks me, "You too pretty to be single. Why you single?" I'll be like, "Cause I'm scared." Hold
Oh,
on, I gotta put the game on. Wait a
and
minute.
watch him show up. Watch him show up.
He gonna show up.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
the
gonna
real one will.
the real
The
one. Oh, only
Yeah.
the real one.
The fakes will stand out too.
So now that's another conversation. Now we got to
Yeah.
sort out the
Yeah.
real one
Yeah.
from the fake one
That's-
because they put the disguise on. They put
yeah.
man, they laid the disguise on thick.
Yeah. But see, your intuition is gonna tell you, because until you feel safe, it's a no go.
It's a no go till I feel safe.
Yeah.
Leave the past in the past
Yeah.
and don't live in fear.
You can't. It doesn't serve you.
Yeah, fear doesn't serve people. So that's what we learned today. That shall
Yeah.
not live in fear
There you go.
and let it go. Thank you, Lamar. I had a good time. I learned something today. I feel like I
I,
really had a breakthrough.
I feel like you had a breakthrough too. That pleased me. You're a tough cookie to crack, though.
Oh my God. My cousin wanted me to get married. He's trying to get me away, y'all. And I just like, I think he want me to settle down and get married and give me a good husband, y'all. So we just
I
gonna
do
put this
want
out
that.
on the podcast. This ain't good. Lord.
Yeah.
Oh well, we gonna try it, cuz, and I hope in another week or so we can get this recording done. And I want you to come back on the show again. I want you on here every month. I think we need to
Yeah.
meet on here
Good.
every month, at least because I know you so busy with your time. But
Yeah.
I believe at least once a month. I think some of my followers could use some of this counseling that we doing. Is
Yeah.
that cool?
Yeah. I think we can do that. Very nice.
Okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed this. Yeah. I mean,
You
yeah. I think we. I mean, I'm like shocked we had a breakthrough. For real though. I'm like, yeah, that's
We
then.
did. We did
Yeah.
have a breakthrough, y'all. This was a professional counseling session
Yeah. Yeah. Like
on this
we were just kind
podcast.
of bantering, and then it's like, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
but
that
it
hole
had a
popped up
breakthrough.
like boom.
Bam. All right, everybody. Stay on, Lamar. Don't hang up.
You got
Hold
a new
on.
mic too, didn't you? You got a new